He never saw the arrest coming. Last July, Ralston Froman robbed a bank. He handed a note to the teller demanding cash. As it happened, I was standing next to him inside the bank. I left mid-robbery. He never noticed my exit. Never saw photographer Johnny Marquez and I following him. He was arrested some 5 minutes later after we called 911.
No comment, man.
Despite what he told the tellers, Froman wasn't armed. He didn't contest the robbery charges. He was sentenced to 25 years in TDC. He'd been there before. It would seem to be a story about dumbest crimes committed. So his decision to be interviewed in prison was surprising, but not as surprising as his answer to the question of whether he remembered us.
I remember you intervening and probably saving my life.
Froman was on drugs that day. He says he'd been using a lot since injuring his back, ice skating with his child.
I guess subsequently, because of the morphine that they were giving me in the hospital, it awoke the addiction.
That cost him a lot. He'd been in prison before for robbing a pharmacy, but for 3 years, Froman says he'd been sober, enough to go to culinary school and become a chef, working at some upscale Houston restaurants. Between an injury and painkillers, he lost all that, his money and now his freedom. And yet that restored his sobriety. As he said, his life was saved.
I'm lucky to be waking up each day. So I look at each day as a gift if I'm incarcerated or not. I've had prison bars in my mind far, far worse than these. And those are at least gone.
Time and his release years from now will prove whether Ralston Froman is sincere. For now, though, he says he wants his story to be a lesson for others.
I didn't want to defend what I did or try to, backpedal my way out of anything, but just to say that, if people have an addiction, that there is help and to get help.
Deborah Wrigley, 13 Eyewitness News. This is how the bank robbery ended on West Park, with a lot of police firepower pointed at 39-year-old Ralston Froman. 10 minutes before, he was demanding money from a bank teller at this Chase branch on Buffalo Speedway. I was standing next to him, but left the bank undetected, even as the robbery was underway.
He's already got in his mind he's going to do, and he doesn't pay any attention to what's around him.
Neither did he notice when he left that Eyewitness News photographer Johnny Marquez and I followed him down West Park, even to the gas station where he replaced the license plates he'd removed from his car. 911 on the phone the whole time.
Finally, when we saw the police department, Deborah and I signaled to the police that was the guy.
And that was it. Froman was arrested.
No comment, man.
The money and the hold-up note he'd shown to the teller were recovered from his car, stashed in an ice cooler. No weapon was found on Froman. Police say he was out on parole when he was arrested today. In Southwest Houston, Deborah Wrigley, 13 Eyewitness News.